Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Mid-City TV. I am out here at the beautiful Telchac, Puerto with a lovely woman and a lovely guest that I am going to let introduce herself.
Oh, that's beautiful. My name is Christina, even though that's not who I am. And you are not your name either. You are a being of light. I am a being of light. You are a being of light. You beautiful, lovely energy and halo you got going on over there. Mm-hmm. And I am the channel for Athella. I'm just here as a representative, actually, of Sirius B and the Blue Peoples of Sirius B that are a sovereign nation that are here on planet Earth already, mixing with humanity, showing up when humans ask for it, providing health packs for those that want it, and shining their bright satellite over all over the world, really. But it mostly hovers over the Yucatan and over Oahu, Hawaii. So I'm just here as an ambassador of light. I'm a first-person channeler for Athella and have been going strong since 2015. But before that, and this is all past, but before that I had a very, I would say, a very different, challenging existence that brought me here to this point to be able to meet a blue being of light. And that's what Athella is. She is an alien from Sirius B that speaks and heals people through my body. So. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. So I want you to explain to us a little bit about what it means when Athella comes to you. What is that channeling for those of us who don't necessarily understand that process? What happens and what is it? How does she come in?
Yes. So I asked the very same question in 2015 because I hadn't heard about channeling ever. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. So what happens is I sort of step away and rest in a lobby, if you will, or in a meditation. And then Athella is alien enough to be able to come through using certain codes and frequencies and light and vibration and passes through my body, and she speaks. And when Athella speaks, my voice changes. It actually becomes her voice, and the energy that passes through me is able to mix and blend with the cells of human bodies. So what that means is that the light goes into the human and changes the cells for the better. So it heals human bodies. The whole purpose of Athella being here, the whole reason why Syrians want to be here on planet Earth, is to help humans to heal themselves. That's the whole reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And are there many Syrians then here on planet Earth?
Yes, there are. They can be found in products like toothpaste or Head and Shoulders.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and Blu-ray discs. That all started with Syrians. You know, the Blu-ray starting to try to introduce themselves in ways that are friendly and that people can accept slowly.
So how would you know if you're brushing your teeth and you happen to have toothpaste with Syrian?
Yes.
How would you know?
You probably wouldn't, to be honest. A lot of people are not there yet.
Right.
But we're seeing, as the planet is now going through a global ascension, we're going into ascension times, that now people are ready to experience Blu-ray light and aliens in a more direct way. But to be honest, there's lots of alien races that have been on the planet for a long time, and you know, only certain individuals, and some, I would say, vibrating in less than light. Some individuals have been able to see them and perceive them, and that's very, very few and far between. Now people are on the whole more ready to, when they're using a product or when they're hearing certain sounds, frequencies in music that's in popular culture, they're understanding now that this is an alien sound, and many of them, well gosh, there's a lot of people taking selfies in Hawaii with blue lights behind them. They're floating discs in the sky. I mean, this is becoming more common. So there's more overt pieces to it. We will see, you know, Blu-ray beings in the sky or the satellite from Sirius B. And then there's more subtle things, you know, like the soaps and noticing, have you noticed how there's aliens in all kinds of different clothing, and there's unicorns everywhere, seems to be a lot of unicorns.
Okay, sure,
yes.
Yeah.
So those are like the ways that Syrians are trying to sort of ease their way in so that humans are more comfortable receiving Blu-ray light and using it, honestly, to feel good, to heal their bodies, to apply it like a balm, an ointment on the body, and to receive it also the wisdom that comes with it, so that we can take care of the planet and stay on the planet and preserve it for many, many more eons to come.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal. If there were a goal, that would be the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So how is it that you came to be in a space where Athella came to you?
Mm-hmm.
What is, I know you're from Los Angeles?
No, actually, I was born in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I moved around all over the place. I've lived all over the world.
In Seattle.
In Seattle.
In Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, so
You're in Seattle.
I met Athella in 2015, but before that, I was living in almost a constant animalistic-like state of suffering,
Okay.
of ego mind, of violence, degradation, you name it, addictions.
Okay.
And I lived on the streets for many, many human years. But I say this all, it's a preface to, it's not happening now, right? Just like your past isn't happening now.
Exactly.
So whenever we reactivate the past in the moment, we can then deactivate it by bringing consciousness to, oh, I'm activating the past right now.
Right.
Okay, and then we can kind of clear it off with just a swish of blue ray light, just like right now.
You know, that's interesting, because I think that is something, especially people that haven't been able to connect with, let's say, Athella or with a higher being.
Yeah.
That's really difficult for people to do. Kind of switch off things that happened in their past that could have been traumatizing, or just something that that is in the past.
Yeah.
How would you say that we could do that, or how could we get closer to achieving that sort of peace in order to be able to slowly but surely be in the present?
I think you're getting at it right there. There is a process. You were doing it with your hands. There's a process to this, easing our way into it, where gradually we do need to come away from the 3D world, and break away, and save ourselves from that. And it's a process. So for me, it was Athella told me to go live in the forest. I lived in the forest in a tent. I moved out of the city. I left those relationships where I was prostituting and taking drugs and medications and etc. in the 3D. I broke away from that clean, and then eventually stopped using the phones and the computers, and like I feel that's the primary is to begin in a place of coming into our breath, noticing the thoughts, and then realizing that our thoughts are creating our emotions, and that goes into the body and creates situations in the body. We call those manifestations of the body, which are going to clue us in if we have some kind of manifestation in the eye, for example. It's what is it we don't want to see? What is it we don't want to see? That's appearing through the eye. All of this takes, really, we have to be fed up with the suffering. That's what I sense. We have to get to a point where we're on our knees. I do believe that point for me, for example, was being put in a trunk of a car and kidnapped and gang raped by several men that left me on the side of a road. And then a few years later, I went to Amity Foundation in Los Angeles, and I met with those same guys. And I was able to meditate with them and be in a total state of presence to experience what it's like to be liberated from past.
Wow.
And that is the kind, but again, we have to get there through steps. This is a progression.
Right.
And I would recommend if for example, someone's seeing this right now and things have happened to you and it's in the past, and yet you're living it, you're still living it in your present day. You're still living with the fear, you're still living with the anxiety or the trauma or the frustration or resentment. That's a big one, the anger, resentment of what happened to you.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna come right back into our breath. We're gonna do it right now. We're gonna come right into this space. Really realizing that we are awakened in this moment. Light, that which created you and all of this, is here for us fresh in this moment. That's the restart. We come back to our breath. We're watching this together. We're here in this moment because obviously someone's reading this, seeing this, they need to see this and hear this and feel it. So we allow ourselves to be with our breath, even if it's just for a few seconds. We break away, we break those chains from the past that are holding us.
Right.
And we start with the breath, Then from there, light is going to guide us to, okay, maybe it's time to leave the city. Maybe it's time to move out of this human apartment or wherever. Maybe it's time to really begin a spiritual voyage to save oneself and to live very present, very much in the now. So bottom line is the now is our savior. It's like right here, right now. I find, Stephanie, if I step away from the now, I get into trouble, you know, with those thoughts, those feelings. If I let myself take that train, there is no end to that. And it leads to suffering.
Right.
Yes.
I always say kind of like going down the rabbit hole. Going down the rabbit hole. You know,
Yes.
and we're talking about the past, but also, you know, when you're thinking so much about the future as well, that can cause anxiety, can cause excitement.
That's
but
right.
It can also cause some anxiety about how you're going to get there.
Truly.
And if we can just be in the present,
Oh, yes.
then maybe the future will
Right.
come rolling out how we need it to.
Well, and we have that trust, you know, if we stay present long enough and we have a guided way about our day, that we allow light, and when I say light, I mean we're actually feeling, it's not just a word. We're feeling the pulsation of light right now. If we allow this divine intelligence to guide us, we don't need to be living in future either, even if we have it all, quote unquote. And I work with, and I mean sit with, a lot of celebrities with Athella who do the very same thing. And it is very exciting. So we can notice that excitement and yet still return to our stabilized unit of here and now. Here and now. And light is going to guide the way, you know? Light's going to indicate, yes, butterflies and all. So light is going to magically kiss us and guide us, you know, way better than the mind could ever do. Way better. And that trust is developed as, again, it's a process, you know. I know everyone's saying this these days, but meditation is definitely the key.
It is, right? Yeah. And it is becoming the trend, which is a good thing.
Excellent, right?
Which is a good thing.
And then feeling, you know, I think a guidance here, a mentorship of Blu-ray light is like feel the Syrians with you on your pathway. Use these blue beings. That's why they're hanging out around here. You know, they want to be called upon. Athella is kind of on the standby. We got 3 blue angels. We have other beautiful Syrian guides, elders, that will quite rapidly, you know, come into your meditation, guide you towards your next steps, you know, and feel that energy in your body. It's called blue-ray plasma. Goes right into your body, right? And it's going to attune those neurons so that we're not thinking too much about anything. And the thoughts, we can settle and be very present, and that active presence is what takes us to our future. Not to be confused with apathy either.
Right.
There is such as like going into these retreats and spiritualization as a way of escape. No, we're talking about being very present and activating higher intelligence by letting light guide us. Yes.
Right.
Which is a very active, perky state of presence, right?
Sure.
It's perky presence.
The perky presence. The perky presence. So when people come to you, I know you've worked with a lot of Hollywood celebrities. You've been in Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
And Michael Beckham as well.
That's right.
And Gaia. You've been in all of these outlets. And when people come to you, what sort of I guess healing do you offer them through Athella? Like what is that experience like, so we can kind of get an idea?
Sure. Athella comes on the scene. I get very quiet and very mentally, physically, spiritually, I prepare for this all the way. So each and every client, there's a fast, there's a process I go through. We also do industrial strength cleaning of their field, and a lot of pre-movements go into it. But Athella really heals in the way that she looks very deeply at the individual, senses what they need in the moment, and then goes right quick in. It's a quick entryway with Blu-ray light to assess whatever it is that's most pertinent, most helpful for their ascension. Athella will take people from where they are into their ultralight ascension, which is the reason why if we're alive right now during this epic moment in history of the world, it means that we're on the ultra ascension. We're intended to be ascending. So Athella sees it like that. If you strap in, buckle up with Athella, she will attune your cells, check in with the Blu-ray plasma to see at what quantifiable percentage you are needing Blu-ray light, because it's different for everyone.
Okay.
And we don't want to like apply too much or too little.
Sure.
And then she'll introduce you to your network of guides. You have light liaisons and guides and like a beautiful grid work of energies around you. And then there are, I think Athella really wants to and is invested in helping celebrities, anybody, navigate through the 3D world skillfully, successfully, and to live abundantly, opulently, and healthy. Right. And so all of those points, but I couldn't really say that this is a coaching process. It's not. It's a lived experience in the moment. It's a full-on activation when you go in there, and when someone's ready, really, because we are talking about an alien here. So there's like. They're gonna see it from all angles, and Athella really does quite literally take it very seriously when a human wants to interface with that kind of energy. Whatever needs to be released will be released, and then from there, if the individual is ready, then there'll be a metamorphosis. Yeah.
And do people come in and talk with Athella about what it is that they need to work on, or does it? Athella just kind of...
Sure. Although I'd say probably over 90% of folks, when they come in, these beings are already, I would say, awakened or open. I hesitate to use those words even, because it's like, it doesn't capture it. They're already there, they're already vibrating in this realm. So they don't say much at all. And then Athella sees and says, okay, we're gonna go,
all knowing.
This is like, we're gonna go into the vortex of this, we clear that away. And then did you know, this pathway is opened up here, let's go into this.
Right.
And then we'll ask the ultimate question, which is, what would you like to place your energy on? Because your energy, your attention is atomic. And so wherever you want to spend in your 3D realm, that's where your energy is gonna go, that's the reality that you will create.
Right.
So let's celebrate a reality that you really like and want, such as, for example, in your case, your sharing and being and the presence that you offer to those watching this is clearly it's indicated in your light mission, right? And in your divine blueprint, your beauty, your oneness with the elements, right? And your astral guides, and so we can play with that more. And I think Athella does this really well, is take the beauty that is resonance in the being and says, well, here is the spread of forms. What would you like, and what would you feel best in? And let's take that energy and amplify it. Let's use it intelligently. Let's get some velocity, or perhaps it's a pullback on the energy, and let's recede a bit. And etc. So it's an intelligent process of consciousness opening with alien assistance. I would say call it like that.
Okay. And when people go, do they usually come back? Is it like something that they need to experience several times?
A lot of people, once they have that first initial contact, they love how this feels, not because it's a crutch, because that's not at all what this is about. It's about finding the inner oneness, and then from there, glowing that inner torch of that light inwardly. It's, however, they do find that they like the mentorship, the Syrianship of it all, and then they'll attune to Athella through one of our programs. I can feel Athella coming through right now. So I'm just, again, a representative. Athella does all of this. And our programs then allow that you can connect with Athella throughout your day, your forms of the day, and receive divination or self-empowering, healing, and just good nutrients, right, to help build you along the way.
Sure.
So, but all of this is really empowered from within, and that you're being called back home. Right. Rather than, there's quite a few, I think, in leadership, we were just talking about how in leadership there is a tendency for the guru to be seen as, okay, I want to attach, this being wants to attach itself to the guru, right?
Right.
And I seek that for my sustenance. You know, I need that for my spiritual evolution. When in fact, we can be empowered from within and feel our own guidance, our own inner light bringing us home.
Right,
You know, and really have that interdependence, you know, that
and
freedom.
Be able to connect with it.
Right, that's right.
Yourself.
Yes, and that is freedom. That's total freedom.
Right,
And I think that's what we're all interested in.
Right.
Being free.
And the program that you're talking about, how does one access the program?
You can go to athella.org and you can apply. So it's an application process, and then Athella, upon applying, she may ask you to see the Syrian Light Codes film, which is a film of bodily activation as well as mind and psychology activation. That when you see these codes, they're codes direct from Sirius B. And that will activate within you and take you to, quite literally, the next dimensional level or interdimensional level that is appropriate for you.
Right.
Everyone that comes to Athella.org it's hand selected by Athella. So if the candidate is ready, then that will be a selection, and then we'll move forward. And the program, there's several programs, but it's a fellowship, Syrianship, basically attuning to Syrians day in, day out, and learning more about their ways and participating in the tribal activities and speaking light language as we are doing now. You're doing it fabulously. Light language all the way, so that we learn how to speak when we're in the 3D world. We learn how to navigate very well and become pilots through the 3D and hover. We learn about hoverability, hovering high, you know. So I'm saying this because I feel like your audience, many of them, will be not only intrigued, that's one level.
Yes, absolutely.
But also, I feel like we should just go there and say things how they are, and give the information as is. It's a higher intelligence that I know the general public is hungry for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we're at that time now, or like I was saying, and you were saying, it's becoming the trend. People are really starting to connect more and more, which I think is really special to find so many people that are connecting.
Yes.
And well, I also wanted to ask you, of course, we are in the beautiful Yucatan, and we're both from the United States, and the Yucatan also attracts so many people. And we were just talking, you know, there's real magic here.
Truly.
You know, and I was joking with a friend of mine, or a couple friends. We were at a dinner drinking some mezcal, and we were saying, okay, so what is it about Yucatan? And you know, so we were thinking well, you know what? I think it was, you know, people drink the agua de pozo, right? They drink the well water, and that's what keeps people here. But then, you know, the asteroid that hit here 66 million years ago and created all these wonderful cenotes. There's some sort of universal magic here, and it brings so many people here, and that just love it and find magic. So how is it that you found Yucatan?
Athella told me to leave everything, and to come to the Yucatan to study Syrian ways, because the crater is here, and also within the crater is the portal prism of Sirius B. And there are powerful portals connecting us to the satellite. The Syrian light is most powerful, most potent here, and the practitioner that wishes to study and partake can get lit with it, really, quite literally, and take that in as magical energies connecting to the elements, connecting to the animals. Athella told me to be with the dolphins, to be in my kayak. I didn't know how to kayak. I didn't know anything about this place. I jumped on an airplane and I came here, and she told me to follow the orange butterflies. I followed them, and they just came in. I followed them, and it took me to a place in Chuburná. And she said, here's the retreat center, and that was the first establishment that was built for the retreats.
So you have a retreat center here in Chuburná?
There's two of them. And they're in Chukskub's crater. So and it's off grid. They're They're a little bit more off-grid now.
Okay.
They celebrate the prism portal and Syrian light, and they are a holy sanctuary for those that are committed to their ascension pathway. And once again, hand-selected. When they come in, they study with Athella. We do body training on the beach. There's strong athleticism. Syrians are very athletic.
Okay.
So there's a lot of training for the mind neurons and also for the physical body temple. But back to what you were saying, the magic is so potent. It is incredible. And I dare say it's also Syrian Mayan based. Mm-hmm. Syrians and Mayans played together. They built things together. They have collected. The repository of energy is still here.
Okay.
And fresh, and as we can feel, breezy in all the elements.
Breezy.
And we can use that to our advantage to supersize our ascension, right? We can just be here for a week. Come here, be here for a week. Take your phone away and be here, and you will find an ultra ascension path. It will take you to your inner ascension pathway, and that is a cleansing, it's a detoxing, it's a unification with the oneness of life. Apart from the structures though being here, the vibration, the drumming, that is something that is, and if I may, as a demonstration, is the Syrian symbol here on the chest and goes into the drumming. This is a way to calm the circulatory system and to really get into the indigenous origins of the Mayan Syrian light. And we can feel that the more, I think, human time that we pass in areas like this, then we begin to attune to the magic of it. And we ourselves become magical, like you. Yeah. You know, it's just like, and if we remove things from the 3D, say alcohol and meat products, that's just an example. If we become vegan and we remove alcohol, okay, then we've taken huge leaps, again, to unify with this magic here. And we will find our manifestations. Okay, we're gonna go fast.
Yeah.
We put our thought on something and the next day it manifests, you know? So we become very aware that, hey, this place with my energy just so aligned, I can really live well and vibrate in a very healthy way.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if someone wants to participate in a retreat, is that through your website? The information is there.
It is, yes. And even before then, if the intention is there inside of you, intend it, see yourself there, and Athella might find you. There's been many celebrity clients that Athella has found. Christy Whitman is one of them.
Okay.
And we do several events, and she's 2-time New York Times bestseller and is now channeling herself. So, but Athella found Christy. And reached out to her. So if you're really feeling that fire within and you feel like, yes, this is, I really attuned to the Blu-ray light, I want to meet with Athella, I'd love to be in a retreat, then sit with that, be with that, and out-picture it through here, through your third eye, and see yourself in the Yucatan. And that kind of energy is going to produce an effect, you know, and one way or another, you'll be appearing, right, on the website, or one of our, fabulous Team A members will contact you or something like this. We live in a miracle vibration, a miracle era, where all things are truly vibrating as possibilities that are open for us. If we align with that vibration, then we will become attuned to it and we'll see miracles. It's just like the butterfly flow, or the flowers flying in the wind.
Flowers, flying in the wind. Before we started, right? Okay, so one last question here. How is it, or do you work also with some of the local community, or how is it that you want to get involved with the local community, if you do already, or the people that live here, either Yucatecan or foreigners that live here? How do you involve yourself with that community?
I show up whenever Athella asks me to and wherever Athella asks me to. That's how I involve myself. Other than that, I'm in training at the monastery. So I train and in service 24/7 for Athella. This is all that I do, even though it's really being, not doing.
Sure.
And then in between, there are moments where I'm called to be in service, such as in the Arca de Noé, or in Palacio de Música, where I've done concerts and or like, you know, rocking it out for Blu-ray Light. You know, Athella told me, become a rock star for Blu-ray Light. And so literally I've been training in opera and rock, and even though I've never done these things before, and we've put on some amazing performances where once again, the healing light of Blu-ray Light can pass through. And these organizations, well, we've also been to healing facilities, and, you know, local areas where human beings are opening to Blu-ray Light and to Athella Light, and that's really where I find our contribution. On the whole, though, if we really want to, and I think it's important to point out here, especially now, if we want to create harmony and peace, where there seems to be less than harmony and peace in the 3D, then it must begin inwardly, and as a daily progression of inwardly holding a space of harmony and peace, and inwardly seeing the planet as healed and that everyone is coming together in sovereignty. And while some may look at that and say, well, that's really not doing anything, it actually is, because we're creating through the ether vibrations of the energy of peace. And so in my daily meditation with Athella, I do ask Athella, how may I serve? Or plug me into whatever organization it is, locally or abroad, and we'll go there. And hold that image of peace, hold that image of spreading Blu-ray Light. And so that's a very powerful way to create peace, and take an action step on peace, is by holding it inwardly. And I say that deliberately because I know that those that are watching this are also watching 3D, you know, social media and other outlets and things. And when we see those images, just return to a vision of peace, you know, and be the pro-peace, be the pro-harmony that we all say that we want and we know that we want. And then leave talking about anything less than peace behind, you know. So I hope I phrased that, Athella, the right way.
Yes.
It's like, I do my best, but you know, she is the master. So I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to sit with you.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, and for Athella to be present with us. And might we spend a moment just feeling the emission of Blu-ray Light together?
Yes.
That's beautiful. Rather than thinking about it or talking about it, feel it. Go deep inside your umbi line, that's the umbilical area, and feel a deep, intensive Blu-ray light to come in to your umbilical area. Now let the Blu-ray light go where it may. And now let us feel Blu-ray light in your heart chamber. Like loving angel wings are wrapping around you. And finally, to conclude, let's feel Blu-ray light at the palms of the hands. You are light. It's very true. Be the light. Thank you for allowing Athella to present and to emit some vibrations of blue ray and to play with the elements with you today. It's an honor. Thank you, Athella. And thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Christina.
You are a glowing radiance.
Oh, thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel wonderful and very relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's healing vibration and feeling our beingness. That's beyond the words. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here with me and with all of you out there. And I will definitely encourage you to look at Christina and Athella's website.
Beautiful, Athella.org.
Athella.org.
Yes.
And if you're lucky and you live here in Yucatan, you might see her walking down the street or singing in Palacio de la Música at some point.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And thank you all for being here, and